VAR and Peace, summit a success as managers and SFA agree to introduction of video referees. The SFA and SPFL will step up plans to introduce VAR into Scottish football after a successful high-level summit between warring Premiership managers and top-level referees. Hampden Chief Executive Ian Maxwell invited the feuding parties to air their grievances at McDiarmid Park last night after a series of high-profile controversies. All Premiership managers, except Kilmarnock boss Steve Clarke and Hamilton's Martin Canning, attended the Perth meeting. Match officials Andrew Dallas, Kevin Clancy and John Beaton were also there alongside SFA Compliance Officer Clare Whyte and Referees Chief John Fleming. The possibility of full-time referees was raised, but VAR was the big winner, getting unanimous backing from both sides. Maxwell has already held talks with the International Football Association Board, IFAB, about introducing VAR into Scottish football. However, it will not happen quickly as it takes referees a year to be trained in the new technology, and clubs will also need to find the money to fund it. After summit, which had stretched over 2 hours, had concluded, an upbeat Maxwell said, "It was a really good, positive meeting and everyone engaged in it. It was good to get the managers, officials and the association together in the same room. There is a real appetite to fully investigate VAR. The managers see the benefits of it. This is something that between ourselves and the SPFL we will investigate further. John Fleming and I have already had a conference call with IFAB, who essentially own VAR and implement it on behalf of FIFA. We will now have to produce a fully costed model because there are different ways to implement it. IFAB have said to speak to similar-sized nations and hear about their experience of it. It's something we want to get on the table as quickly as we can. But it's a long-term project. It's not a quick fix and that needs to be fully understood by everyone involved. You need to see what you can use it for and what you can't, so there is a training element to it which takes around 12 months. So it's not a quick fix, but it would definitely be worth it in the long run. I think Scottish football can afford it, and ultimately it will come down to a club decision. The SPFL have an amount of money and most of that is distributed to the clubs. So if there is an element which has to be taken to cover the cost of VAR, then that's a decision that will be made. But the managers were very positive about it tonight. There were also discussions on full-time referees in the decision-making processes, but VAR was the main thing. The summit came after referee Beaton required police protection after threats following his handling of the Old Firm game at Ibrox on December 29. Celtic released a statement after Rangers striker Alfredo Morelos was not hit with retrospective punishment despite being involved in 3 flashpoints in the match. Rangers had previously issued their own letter to the SFA complaining about Willie Collum after his controversial decision to send off Daniel Candias during a win at Street Mirren in November. And Hearts boss Craig Levein was recently hit with a ban for critical comments made about referee Bobby Madden's handling of his side's 2-1 home loss to Rangers in December. Last night, Hibs boss Neil Lennon was put forward as a spokesman for the league managers, and he said an agreement had been reached not to publicly criticize referees. There has to be a level of respect for the match officials from all of us, he said. It was agreed we as managers should take more responsibility for that aspect, which is quite right. Overall, it was a very productive meeting. The atmosphere was very respectful with a lot of debate and humor. There were no voices raised and everyone came out feeling better about things. Everyone got a chance to speak, and Clare Whyte, the compliance officer, was there, too, and she was very impressive. The most unanimous decision amongst the referees and managers was on VAR. The referees felt it would be a great help for them, and the managers as well want it introduced in some sort of form. Predominantly it will be down to the clubs to agree on how it is financed. Earlier in the day, Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers had stated his desire for full-time referees, although it seems that issue has fallen down the list of priorities for the moment. Referees going full-time is a big issue for me, he said before the summit. If you have refereed a game at the weekend, then you go to your other job on a Monday, then your full concentration is not on refereeing. These guys are then going into high-pressure situations and asked to deal with that type of pressure. But, if referees are full-time, They can come together on a Monday, because it is their job, and analyze and look at areas where they could get better. They could be mentored and exchange ideas with other referees, and that preparation would give them more confidence, and confidence makes people better and more prepared to deal with pressurized situations. I respect that some of the referees have good jobs, but I do think there is a need for professionalism, and there is also a need to protect players.